Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about the brand new character that we're getting in the version 3.0 update, which is in a few days, that being the Herta. I still can't get over how stupid her name is. She will be on the first half, meaning she will drop as soon as the update goes live. So I wanted to make a video talking about her kit, her pull value, her strength, and a little bit about just DPS's in general. But before we start, if you want to enjoy this video, I would really appreciate it if you like and subscribe because it really does help me out a lot. And also, if you want a place to talk about the game that we all absolutely love, might I recommend joining the Express Train Discord server at the link down below. But without further ado, let's just get into it. First up, what does the Herta actually do? The Herta is an ice character following the path of erudition, similar to the 4-star version, and she is a main DPS who does quite a bit of damage. Her kit is a little difficult to explain even though in practice it is very simple, but I'll do my best to explain it. Also, I will be reading the name of her traces because they are way too funny to ignore. The Herta's basic attack called Did You Get It is nothing special, it's just normal basic attack. Her skill called Big Brain Energy gives a stack of interpretation on one target and deals ice damage to everybody. I'll explain what interpretation stacks do in a second. Her ultimate, called Told Ya Magic Happens, takes stacks of interpretation and rearranges them, prioritizing elite or higher enemies. It also grants her a stack of inspiration, which enhances her skill as well as letting her go again. Her enhanced skill called Hear Me Out then also does some pretty good damage. And her talent called Hand Them Over is pretty important to discuss. So what this does is when enemy targets enter battle, it applies one stack of interpretation on them. At the start of each wave, it applies 25 stacks of interpretation on random enemy targets, prioritizing elite or higher enemies. Each stack of interpretation increases the damage multiplier by 8% on primary targets and 4% on the other targets. But if you have two erudition characters in your party, has an additional 8% on primary and 4% on other targets, and it stacks up to 42 times. And these stacks are transferred when the enemy is defeated. So, lots of damage. You might be wondering how else does she get these stacks? That's where her passives come in. Her first passive, called Aloofly Honest, inflicts one stack of interpretation when the allies attack, and for every one target hit, Herta regenerates 3 energy for up to 5 enemies. Her next passive, called Message from Beyond the Veil, finally a normal name, makes running a second erudition character very important, as it gives all allies 80% crit damage, and to put it simply, gives more interpretation stacks. Her final passive is called Starve Landscape of Vakua, which gives her 1 stack of Answer every time a stack of interpretation is applied. Answer increases the ultimate's damage multiplier by 1%, stacking up to 99 times. As for her technique, the Herta's attack increases by 60% at the start of the next battle, lasting for 2 turns, and she also is able to help find treasure, so Numby power creep. When she enters battle with her technique in Simulated Universe or Divergent Universe, she deals true damage equal to 99% of the target's max HP to enemies that are not elites, and true damage equal to 30% of the target's max HP to enemy targets at elite level or above. So her kit is very long, but all you need to know is play with erudition, hit skill, ult skill, pew pew pew, big damage. The Herta also has some pretty good team options for free. For erudition partners, you can run Mini Herta or Winset Von Whack Passkey Serval, and for the support, you can run the new Remembrance MC. When it comes to more premium options, she has an option in a character that I'm personally a big fan of, that being Jade. Jade is slowly beating the pure fiction only allegations, and it's very nice to see. There's also a unit like Robin who is very good overall, but from what I've seen, Remembrance MC is actually very competitive, and then you have a premium sustain in Lingsha. So she is pretty flexible and is a very good character for new players as she's pretty cheap. When it comes to her signature light cone, here's what it does. Increases the crit rate by 12%. When the wearer uses their ultimate, increases damage dealt by the wearer's skill and ultimate by 60%, lasting for 3 turns. After the wearer uses their ultimate, if this ultimate consumed 140 or more energy, recovers 1 skill point. So this light cone is pretty good, and the good thing is, she has many other light cone options, such as the one in the, funny enough, Herta shop. But knowing Hoyo, you'll probably be forced to pull it by the time the rerun comes around. If you're playing a team with skill point issues and want an easier to obtain upgrade for Herta, then I recommend it over her E1. So with all that said, how good is the Herta? The Herta is very strong. She will probably be one of, if not the strongest DPS in the pure fiction game mode alongside the likes of Rop and Argenti, as AoE is absolutely key there. She is also going to perform very well in the current MOC lineup as it favors AoE characters in order to kill all the trotters, but Jade without her E1 may struggle a bit in MOC if Herta cannot hit 5 enemies. And even Apocalypse Shadow, she'll still be very good there, as the next rotation includes a Storm King bug, and these buffs were designed in a lab to shield her, so she's going to perform very well in all 3 modes on release, as most characters do. She is looking to be one of the best DPSs when it comes to 4-star free options, or low cost, as some people like to call them. And with that said, she definitely does have room to grow. but as she is very broken, I think there's a bit we need to talk about just regarding DPSs in general. DPSs are always difficult to recommend to somebody because of the P word, so it's hard to say how long the Herta is going to last. She is definitely going to last for quite a while in pure fiction as AoE equals good, but when it comes to other modes, it's a little bit hard to say. She is going to be very good, but the little concern that I have is her being a crit DPS in the same patch we are getting 2 characters introducing us to the new summon meta, and it seems like that's the meta we're sticking with for a pretty good amount of time. I also think some of her value also depends on whether or not you have Sunday. Sunday is good, but nothing crazy for Herta, but who he is crazy for is the summon in the Memo Sprite meta we have coming. Honestly, if you have him and you're not using him on someone else, I'd honestly probably recommend going for a Glare or another summon DPS over Herta, but that's just me personally. If you don't have or plan to get Sunday, then I think Herta is 100% the better choice, and she's an incredible unit especially for low spenders. Due to the constant changing on the endgame, a DPS now might not feel good the very next rotation. Take Fei Xiao for example. Fei Xiao is who I would call the best DPS in the game, but the thing is, in this MOC she isn't the best due to the rotation wanting you to play AoE, so you need to try to kill 2 mobs and try to kill the Stratos, which can be a huge pain in the ass. The endgame modes can change so quickly, so it's important to be wary of that when you're making a decision on who to pull. It's also hard to recommend them in a general sense because everybody has different accounts, different characters, different investment levels, so making overgeneralizations is sometimes hard to do. With the release of the Herta, she'll probably compete with the likes of Rappa, who is, in my opinion, the best DPS overall for all 3 of the current endgame modes. But the Herta will be much cheaper when it comes to teams, so that is a plus. I do know people want the newest hottest DPS, but do not be sucked into the FOMO of not owning her. It's not going to ruin your account. Don't get me wrong, she's an incredible DPS, and if you need one, she is absolutely worth it. However, I am curious. With the summon meta, she will be in an interesting spot, but I think we'll just have to wait and see what happens. When it comes to me personally, I'm skipping her. I'm running my Jingling until the end of service, so I don't really need another Ice DPS. And to be honest, I'm also just not really a big fan of any of the characters on the new planet besides Inoxa, so she doesn't really do anything for me. But I'd like to hear from you. Will you be pulling the Herta? Will you be skipping her? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe so I can feed my family. Join the Express Train Discord server at the link down below. And please spend responsibly. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.